Hello, Quinn. Can you hear me?
Sure. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to the digital living room of sorts. Um,
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. And yeah, thank you for adjusting the time and pivoting. And also, it's such an honor to be able to read for you in person today. And I first just want to start by asking you, what are your pronouns, Quinn?
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
They, them, he, him, and I love being called girls. If you pop a she, her in there, I love it. I feel very seen.
Okay, great. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I like to pass these on to spirit. And also, without, telling me, actually, before I even get to that, I already feel so much distracting me with you. I'm like, wow, they're starting already. This is so interesting. I'm like, hold on. So the first thing I want to say is that everything that you experience is welcome in this space. If you need to get water, drink water, get tea, move your body, breathe, make sounds, whatever it is, your whole humanity is welcome in here. Nothing disrupts this signal, and it cannot be distracted in any way. I've had children, pets, partners, family members, everyone come in. It's okay.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. So just so you know, that is always welcome. And before we kind of get into today, I'm just curious without, saying anything about your experiences, but what is this your first time getting a reading or have you had readings before?
I've had readings before. I think they've been more based on like me and like my struggles and nothing from like I wouldn't say nothing from the spiritual world because I think it's kind of all connected, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I've had any sort of like yeah, anything like this. Nothing with death based. So I'm
Okay.
very keen, interested,
Okay.
all the above.
Yes, I love your energy. Great.
Thank you so
So
much.
with that, I'll just ask too, just to clarify, because I think about it as like tuning on a radio station as like to which channel we're going today. So for you, without saying anything, what really calls you to have either a spirit guides reading or would you like a mediumship reading? Yeah.
I think mediumship.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I
So
think that's yeah.
okay. And I'll just explain a little bit what that is so you can make sure that that's the one you want. And I'll just talk about what you can expect, how to respond, and then we'll get started and kind of drop into the space together. Um, so, with the mediumship reading, I am opening up to the mediumship level, which is just a term I like to call for the place where our deceased loved ones are, the ones that we had connection with, relationship in the physical world, and they're now on the other side. A word I also use, but when I go to the other side, there are none of these words. Um, so in this place, I really allow those spirits to come through and use my entire body. Some mediums don't do that. I allow them to use my body, my emotions, my nervous system, my mannerisms, everything to be able to get across what it is they want to share with you and what it is they want to validate with you. What I find is it's like doing charades in the dark. I never know what they're going to do or say or why. I am merely just the little conduit that they use to express all these things through. Um,
Oh, so
and
cool.
yeah, and with that, there might be times where I feel things intensely in my body, sometimes how they died, sometimes the way that they died. I just want you to know that I am experiencing it so that I can translate it, and then once it's translated, it is out of my body and it is not something that I'm holding on to. So some people are like, oh no, I don't want you to feel anything, but that is like literally my job, is to feel everything and then allowing it to leave, and then I'm fine. I don't feel anything after. So that is also part of the experience as we go along. And then what I like to say is that they usually bring things through that sometimes we haven't even said out loud. They know how to get right to the heart of things in the most moving and beautiful way. And some people find that emotional. They find that like shocking. They find that like, whoa, this is a lot. Everything that you feel in this space is held by me, but also by them. So just know that. And I ask for the highest healing and what your soul most needs to feel and hear right now. And then as far as just responding, as I go along, feel free to say, yes, this makes sense. Here's a little bit why. No, that doesn't make sense. Can I please hear more? All that does just clarify the information that I'm receiving is coming in correctly. Like they don't respond to words. They are communicating through colors and sounds and vibrations. So I am taking that and just trying to put that into words our brains would understand. So with that, the last, they're so strong. Okay, hold on. So the last piece is just, I will leave time for a little Q&A after, and you can ask them anything that might have come up in the meantime, or me in the process. And then we'll talk about kind of integration and closing, as this can be quite a psychedelic experience. And some people are like curious how to go on from there. So as we go along, feel free. You can also ask questions or you can clarify or anything like that. You're not going to interrupt me. Wow. So much energy. Okay. So I'm just going to ask if you have any questions about the process itself before we go into it. Yeah.
I don't think so. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts recently as well. So I've it's been nice to kind of, get a soft introduction before having something one-on-one. So thank you for the material. You're doing great. I think I'm ready.
Yay! Okay, great. So, feel free to write or jot or fidget or whatever you need to do with your hands. That's so welcome. And you'll also get this as a recording after, so you can really ingest it, all that comes through. So I'll just take a moment. All I'm going to do is just fully open up to your field. And then once I start feeling something, I'm just going to start talking. And then from there, we'll just see who steps forward first. And I'll allow them just to dictate exactly where they want this to go today. So I just invite you in your own way. There's nothing you need to do, but just relax, breathe, and just come open to this experience. All right. Yeah. I just have to I feel like I'm going to lose it. Like this energy is really radiating out. And I'm like, whoa, this energy is so strong towards you. So I just want to name, I don't even know who this is yet. But I have a very strong female figure who's just pushing to come through. And I can feel her oh my gosh, I'm coming through. I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay. And as she comes forward, there's so much love for you and so much care. And I feel like she's talking a million miles a minute. She's trying to talk about all these different things. And she's crying. And she's just so excited to be able to see you and speak with you in this way, especially today. And this feels really important for you to know right off the bat. Do you understand this?
Massively.
Her heart is she's racing. I just have to say, the way that she is speaking about you is so loving and so kind and so much she's just I just want to hold you. I just want to hug you. I just want you to know I got you. And I feel like she just gave me this big hug and I'm I feel so safe. I feel so safe. I feel okay. And she just wants me to hug myself like this to you and be this is how close I am to you. This is how close I am to you. As she says that, she makes me feel this energy coming in from her heart to your heart that very much feels again, it doesn't have to be mother, but it feels like a maternal energy. It feels strong in that. How would you understand this? Because I just heard mother. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because she just said mother. She screamed it at me. She's like, mother. I'm like, all right, got it. Catch. Great. She is great at playing charades. That's all I have to say. She's like, next one, let's go. Got it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Sounds pretty accurate, I think. Yep.
Like,
Wow.
let's go, let's do this. Like, come on. And her energy again around you is very much she just held you. So just my symbol for holding you is just that she held you, like you're little in her arms, and that you were little in her arms, and the way that she like she's like brushing your hair, and the way that she like has you in her arms, and the way that she cared for you, and also the memories you had with her.
Yeah.
She's, I don't know what I'm seeing, but I feel like she's showing me almost an old picture book. I don't even know. And the pictures are like pretty, like they're old, you know, they're like old fashioned with a layer of plastic where you like put it through.
Oh
And she's like,
God. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
I'm like, oh, what is this? And she's showing me you and just like these little memories. And I can
Ooh.
see you as like a little being in these different moments with her and these different memories. And she's talking about wanting you to hold on to the good times and the memories that you shared with her. How do you understand all of this?
I could go. I don't know how
Yeah,
much detail you want me to go in at the
yeah,
moment, but
go
yeah,
ahead. Yeah,
you're on track.
yeah.
I've recently, my mother died when I was 2.5. And so recently, a whole bunch of photos of her have been released from our house. They were hidden by my stepmom and my dad, and so they've just been like released. And so I just came across these like 6 months ago, and I've got one here, literally. So on
What's
point,
her?
couldn't be
Wow.
more on point.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I can feel her exuberance and her excitement dancing around you. Like she just feels so excited to be able to, again, she's reiterating to step forward in this way and for you to really feel her and also to validate some things that you already sense and feel about her.
Ooh.
And she says, okay, wow, she's so fast. So, and this would explain a lot with her timing. So she's very fast on the other side. I find this with souls that have been there for a while and know how to work it and know how to work the energy. She's like literally a master at it right now. It's very fast. And she's also showing me a few different things she wants to go into um, around her life. So I don't know what this is. Okay, so she's changing the energy in my body for a second to show me a few different things. All right. What is this? So she is manipulating the energy a little bit in my throat, um, and in my belly. So I'm not sure what this is about, but she has me feel a lot in my stomach and then also this uncomfortability in my throat. It's
Mhm.
like I can't catch a breath or something. So I don't know what this is related to her, but I just feel like it's like hard for me to really breathe. And I'm like, I don't know what's really going on, but like something going on with the throat. So how do you understand this with her in the physical world? Yeah.
Um, I think like when I look back at some of the photos, she looks overworked and stressed. And
Okay.
I think that there's a side of her that didn't have anyone to communicate things with.
Okay.
So there's just an energy of maybe feeling trapped.
Okay.
The belly thing though is really where a lot of the problems and stuff
Work.
arise though,
Okay. Because
in
she
the
shows
body.
me, because it feels like definitely linked to her health and also like like what went wrong is what she just said. I don't know what that means, but she shows me like the gut, and then I can feel almost like this feeling of like I just threw up or something. I don't know what this is. It's like it's almost like acid reflux or like something coming back up, and I'm just like, oh, I can't. Something is
Yeah.
weird. So I don't know how this was for her in the physical world, but she just shows me this like the thing. It's like linked with the throat and the belly, and then also this element of shoving it down. So wow. Okay, she's showing me a few different things about that. So there's something about the way that she was in the physical world that very much this is so hard. She's like it very much impacted the way what happened to my body and the ways
Yes.
that I put things down and then eventually they came back up. And I could it was like too much at once to then start to heal it on different levels. So I don't know how you understand this, but she's wanting to talk about the specificity around this today. How do you understand this? Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. This I think like the more I look back on it, she developed colon cancer.
Oh my
And
God.
I think what happened is that she didn't know how to communicate what was going on. She was really tough. I know that she was a triple Capricorn,
Yes.
so she just worked, like very focused, very dedicated person. She used to sew me outfits.
Mm.
And I think that she became overwhelmed,
Yeah.
didn't have an avenue or anyone that she felt she could express. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that there was a way that she was suppressing a lot of pain,
Yep.
and it came up and she didn't know how to deal with it. Poor
Yeah,
thing.
because it feels very much connected with the illness and with the cancer and the spreading of the cancer specifically. Because it feels like it starts in one area and then she kind of shows me it going to different areas. And it's like, what is happening right now? Like, I don't know how to even be with this, is the thought. I don't know how to understand this. And then also, I don't know. Okay, she's showing me a few different things she's wanting to go deeper around this. Again, this feels like validation for you about her life and about some of the things you were thinking about or questioning or like, I don't know about that. So she's wanting to really fine point this. So, um, hmm, okay, she's lowering my energy quite a bit. Okay. So as she does this, there's a feeling of trauma coming in and a feeling of pain. And when I feel that in my body, she's showing me a man. And the association with this man is very much one where I feel like I'm trapped and I feel like I can't fully speak. And I can't fully like be myself because she makes me go like this with my body. And I feel like I'm holding myself in a way that's like, okay, all right, but I can't like get it off of me. And this man that she's showing me having a lot of power and control, even the way that he is sort of like regimented. So I don't know who this would be to her, but has a lot of hold over her or had a lot of hold over her. And also reiterated this feeling of small because I feel like I'm strong, but there's something about this man that I feel scared of. And I can't quite put a finger on it. How do you understand this? Yeah.
This is this is really scary, but it's also really validating.
Okay.
This is my
Okay.
dad. This is my dad. They got married really young. I think she was like 18.
Okay.
And he's really toxic. He's really toxic.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has to be my dad.
She said yes. Because there's validation around the manipulation and the games. So I don't know what this is, but I feel like I'm not like mind games. Like I'm questioning myself and I'm like, wait, what is reality? Like, oh yeah, I think sure, but and it's all becoming very confusing as to even who I am in this. Like I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really intense. Okay. Yeah. And she's just wanting to validate that as proof of what you've already known and experienced and have had murmurings of, she said, and had inklings of around him. Do you understand that?
Massively.
Okay.
So much validation. That's really lovely to hear.
Yeah. She says, she just like held your face. She just said, I want you to know that I love you so much. She says, and I am so sorry for what has been done to you and what you did not receive in the ways that you should have received it. She just keeps saying, that's my child, that's my child.
Oh, I love your mom so much. And it's never your fault. Like it's just these
Yeah,
things happened and we're here now.
yeah. She says, they have been through so much. And as she shows me this, she shows me really difficult things that you have navigated here in the physical world. And the things also with the family, that's a huge thing. The ways that you have endured things that no human should have to go through and endure and experience. She says, every time that you would go through these things, I don't know what this is, but she shows me herself shielding you and holding you and putting her arms and going like literally like stop, like screaming stop. And then I can see someone trying to hurt you. So I don't know what this is, but she literally is like in these moments, and it's like you're younger or something, and she just keeps shielding you and saying stop. And there, it's like this holy stop. And then it's like something happens. So I don't know how you understand this, but she says, I want you to know that I tried to be there in every moment that I can to protect you. Do you understand this?
Massively. I think that so I've been doing a lot of therapy the past like 5 to 10 years, and just kind of unworking a lot of childhood trauma. A lot of it was specifically gender based violence. There were a lot of physical abuse moments that happened with like paddle and spanking, and I'd have to disrobe myself, and there was an audience around me. And I feel like I'm like somewhat well adjusted, and it's because I feel her love. Like she gave me an incredible amount of love from such a small amount of time, that that little burst of energy just
Yes.
saved me.
Yes. Yes.
I feel that. I really
Yes.
feel that.
And she says that's exactly it. She says she says my energy has been with you for a very long time and it has not left. She says, I am a parent through and through, and I will never stop being your parent, and I will never
Oh,
stop loving you. She says, I'm so grateful for the ways that you feel me and the ways that you still know that I'm around and the
oh,
ways that you interpreted the messages that I send you. She says, you're not crazy, okay? You see them, you feel them. She's talking about the birds. So I don't know how you understand the birds, but she just brought in all these birds. And I feel like they're like, there's one at my window, there's one here, I'm going out here, and I'm like, look at this bird. Hey, mom. Hey, mom. And I'm just talking to this bird, and your mom is literally right there influencing the bird to come make you feel like she's there. Do you
oh,
understand this?
yeah, I do. Yep, a lot. That's beautiful.
She says, I never want you to feel like you're making this up or it's not real. She says, you have such powerful gifts inside of you. You have such powerful knowing inside of you, and you can trust that. She says, okay, she's showing me interesting things here. I'm going to try to translate. Oh, okay. So this is really interesting. So she's showing me you, and then she's having me go, and I literally feel like I'm doing like a shamanic ceremony. So I don't know what this is, but I like literally feel like I'm like doing this like I don't even know, like shamanic ceremony. I don't know what that means, but
Me
literally
too.
going out, I feel like I'm in the woods or something, or somewhere beautiful, naturey, and I'm just like having this moment of ritual. And these moments of ritual are like really grounding me and like hooking me. And I feel things, and I'm like feeling the energy and the spirits, and I just feel all of these things happening. And then I'm also like, I don't know what
Oh,
this is, but I feel like I'm doing these little things. Like I see like a little cauldron or something and like spices or like herbs. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm like, I know that it's real. I know what I'm doing is real and I love it. So I don't know how you relate to that, but she's wanting to
honey,
talk about your, not only the way that you feel and interpret, but the way that you are with your gifts and abilities. You have strong gifts and abilities, and they are so already in you. And she wants to really validate them. Do you understand this?
I do. Yeah. Yep. I've been practicing I think my own version of spirituality. She was really Christian, and I tried to connect through that as a kid, but that space was really closed off to me. It wasn't safe, so I needed to develop my own practice. And uh, I'm a horticulturalist, and I love
Oh,
plants, and so my connection through spirit is through plants. And so I've got all these little vials with like plants inside of them, and I've been making baths and stuff. So I feel like I've gone on the witch route, and that's my spirit connection.
That would have been this tiny little cauldron. It's so witchy. And just the
Yes.
way that you are is beautifully witchy. And that's important for her, she said, to validate the way that you interpret spirit, the way that you interpret the more than human world is beautiful. She says, she's laughing. She goes, I got it all wrong. She goes, I don't know how I thought I could live in these tiny ass boxes, but they're too tiny down here. They're so tiny. And she's just
Yeah.
letting you know that when she crossed over, she very much realized the limitedness of the box that she was in around what she believed. She shows
Ah,
me her journeying to the other side when she died, and then literally exploding into the stars. And she said,
ah,
Ash, she goes, it was the most amazing experience. I don't even have words for it. It was just literally all of me bursting into the universe. And I just felt like my whole soul weep. And that's all I could do. That's all I could do. She says, so I see things much differently than how I saw them in the physical world. She says, I
mm,
also learn a ton from you and watching you explore and be in the beautiful queerness of all that
ah.
there is. She goes, Ash, I learned that word. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She's like, I got that right? I'm like, yeah, you got it right.
Nailed it.
She says, see, yeah, we can change, right? I'm like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oof. Wow. Love it.
Um, okay, she's she's a riot. She's so funny. She's got a great sense of humor. Like she is intense, but like also very funny. So this, yeah, I don't know if that was be her energy, but I'm just like, I love her
Cool.
vibe. It's so fun.
So cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, so okay. Wow. Okay, so she's taking me to a different place right now. She says, I want to tell you that I'm so glad you are still here. She says, I'm glad that you chose to stay and that you didn't choose to end your time here. She shows me that contemplation of that moments. And she shows me her soul talking to your soul while you're asleep and telling you you're not done here.
Oh.
And then it's like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I guess I can do another day. So I don't know how you understand this, but she's wanting to bring this forward and wanting you to know that she knows of everything. And she also knows how hard it has been in certain moments of your life to stay here in the physical. Do you understand that?
Massively. That's really nice to hear. It's nice to hear an acknowledgement around that pain. Yeah.
She says, you are doing so much and you have so much more to do. She says, your gifts are so wide and vast and spectrumy and just all over in the best way. She says, and this is a beautiful gift of yours, is that you don't fit into one container. And the things you do don't fit into one container. And the work that you do doesn't fit into one container. And even the labels, there's not really enough labels to describe who you are or what you do. And she says, and this is beautiful. She says, this is the next ushering of the new earth. This is the next iteration of what we are going to collectively on this planet. She shows me sort of this separation, this like very distinct separation, and then this like merging of different energies on the planet. And then it's just like
Ooh.
all of the spectrum and like nuance and like, and she says, those who are and have been living in it the way that you have, even when it's been so much adversity, are going to be the ones that we turn to, that
Mm,
we ask how to be in this time of uncertainty, of unknown, of pivoting, of queerness, of going moment to moment and then adjusting. She says these are things that you have honed so deeply inside of you and have been walking with for most of your life. She
mm,
says, and this makes you equipped for this time and also this time of what's coming on earth. She says, you don't have to fear it. She says, I don't know what this is. I feel like she's like, she's placing me in, like, I feel like I'm in like a dream thought or something. Like I'm like I don't know if it's like a nightmare or something, but I'm like seeing like apocalyptic stuff, and I'm like, what? I'm like seeing all this like intensity, and like I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And like I'm kind of stressed out about it. I'm just like, how is this gonna be okay? Like, are we gonna be okay? And there's a lot. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, all of a sudden I'm in like an Octavia Butler book right now, like walking through.
Yes.
Do you understand this? Okay.
Yeah.
She's referencing Octavia Butler. And I'm like,
whoa. Yes.
Okay. So she's wanting to say, first of all, she's like, I'm not going to lie to you. She says, things are going to get harder. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. She says that I say that out of love, not fear. Mm. As she says this, there's a neutrality that comes over her. Just is. Just is. Yeah. She says, but what we can do is align ourselves with love in the ways that you do and keep moving forward together. That is the only way forward. She says, and you know this. She says, when you have those visions or thoughts or see something or just feel the intensity of the collective like you do, she says, come back and I will bring you to that place of love. I will remind you of it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Mm. She says, oh, wow. She says, okay, she's talking about death work. So I don't know how you understand this, but she's showing me like, I feel like I'm like, like with death. Like, I don't know what this is. I'm like seeing a crow. She's showing me like a big black crow. And then like making noise. And I can feel this like walking with death, walking with uncertainty, like walking in these like darker realms, but not terrifying, not scary, just dark, black, abyss, infinite, space, void, whatever this is. And really feeling what's here and trying to work through it. So I don't know what this is for you or how you are with death or what you're processing around it or walking through it. But this feels like something that she's wanting to acknowledge as very important also in this time, and having this skill of being with that, partnered with the joy and the celebration and the aliveness and the juiciness of life. Also, there is this death, and then there's this falling away, and there's these endings, right? So she wants to talk about the way that you hold these in your own life and your own being, the way that you're processing them. How do you understand this?
I'm obsessed. I'm getting a lot from that. I'm getting a lot. Like I had this moment a couple years ago. So we lived with this other reader. He was a healer. He was First Nations queer fella who had kind of grown up in the stolen generation in Australia. Yep. So he was really kind of spiritually lost. And we had this moment where, you know, we kind of broke apart. And after that, there was this crow who landed in our front yard who was dying. And I just came across this crow and I was like, it literally landed out of the sky. And I just tried to nurse it while it was dying and held on to it. And it passed away the next morning. I gave it water and food and just tried to be there. And I feel like a lot of my earliest memories were based around death, like my mom being gone. There was someone else who passed away. The town that I grew up in literally made caskets and hospital beds. There was a crematorium across from our intermediate school. I have memories of being in the cemetery. Like it's weird, like I have a lot of death in my life.
A lot of death. Okay.
I'm used to it.
Again, not everyone has that. Like, this is not an everyday experience for people that I'm looking for. But when she shows me all of these avenues of death, there's also a validation of just everything that you just said and what she knows and feels and senses. And also, there's an opening here. And again, I don't know if this is a thought or was a thought or an idea, but what she shows me is sort of death doula, or walking with people who are dying, or going into these dark places and being like, I think I could do a little bit of that. I think I could, I'm curious about that. So I don't know if you're thinking about that, but there's support if and when, never a should, you decide you're interested in in that. There's something really natural in you that people would feel really comfortable, really at ease, really open to you being in these processes around death. And however you choose to dynamically do it, it feels very unique as to how you would approach it because of your spirit. But it does feel like literally you've been primed since a child to be around death and to also usher out those who are dying. So again, because it's like this crow experience, who is again alive on the other side now, very much well. And then also though, this energy around being able to sense and feel things in the space, in the room, in the air, like things are going on that you can pick up on, which is part of your gift of really working on the both, your mom says, of like you woke in both realms. And she says, if you get curious of wanting to open one a little bit more, it's okay. She says, I will be there to be with you and also be your protector in that space, that nothing else would come in and ever harm you in that space. So she wants to be clear about this, especially when opening up more of your gifts and abilities and like really unleashing them. So again, there's a lot of emphasis around that. This is never a should, but these are all possibilities if you ever decide to go into them. How do you understand this?
It's really cool because I think one of the questions that I had going into this before was like, I kind of wanted a sense of direction. And this is validating me in a way that like I didn't expect, but it kind of, yeah, I feel it or something.
Yeah, she shows me just like letting it sprinkle in, letting it marinate and seeing. It's kind of what she's showing me is sort of this moment of like, never really thought about it, but then it's like bing, 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 bing after. So don't be surprised, she says, if you get further validation after this reading of the death, of walking with death. There's something she's going to send you in that way that she wants to let you know about in validation of where to go. It also feels important, she says, to not get too, she goes, don't worry about not knowing all the steps or all the details of the plan, that it's okay, that you can actually, you can follow your whim and get curious. You can follow your curiosity. So what she shows me is like, I feel like I'm looking at like a workshop or something immersive and I'm like, but like, what would I do with that? Like, where's that going to go? Like, am I really going to like, is that like, am I gonna put that in my resume? Like what? So she wants to just let you know that following that actually starts the rolling of something. And part of the magic is just not knowing and allowing yourself to unravel as you go. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Why is there a cat? Okay. So she's bringing in a cat. I feel like I'm like walking a cat on a leash, which is really unusual. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening right now, but she just showed me a cat like walking around and I'm like, who is this cat? And wanting to make reference about the cats. So I don't know how you understand the cats, but I feel like they're like literally my babies, my children. They are my everythings and they have like distinct personality. So I don't know.
I feel very red right now. I've got 2 cats at the moment. I love cats.
Oh, okay.
We see each other. There's,
Okay, this one, because it's like very deep, and again, the partnership, it's like it's so real, and I think that's why she's like, that's why I showed like this example of like, a cat on a leash. It's like I want the cat to be with me where I go, and like all these things, like I can't be without my kin. So again, validating the relationship you share with these kin is very special. And the ways that they also communicate to you is very strong. They have a way of non-verbally, telepathically communicating quite a lot, and you like pick up on it, and you're like, oh, hello, oh, okay, and you're really in tune with them. So again, she says, this is just a validation of that kinship, she says, but also your gifts and abilities again. She says so much of the time, she says, sometimes when we're here, we think about our gifts and abilities as something outside of us, as something really, she says, capitalistic. in our culture, she says, and what it is on the other side is actually the energy intrinsically of our spirit. It is the vibration of the sound that we are in the vastness of space and time. It is the everything. And it is also unique to each one of us, she says. So the thing that you have is already there, she says, and it comes out in all of these ways that you might not even think of as your gift or as something that's big or wide or vast, but it is. And that's important for you to know. Do you understand this?
It's beautiful. So beautifully said.
Your mom is like, I again, yeah, I just have to say the place that she's at is so high in vibration. It is like literally hard to put words to it. It's literally like what the completeness of love would be, and just endless. Just like 24/7 hours a day. Because she makes me feel that through my body, sending it to you, this knowing of the other side, and this remembering that you still carry and that you still feel even all that you've been through, that your heart still intact, still able to love, still able to receive love, is just, she goes, mind-blowing. She says, I want to talk about that. And she just zoned in, pointed her finger. I'm like, where are you going? And as she did that, she showed me love and relationship. And she wants to go into that. So there's an emphasis around wanting you to know that what you give and offer from your love is so, so much. She says, you not only give of your heart, but you give of your time, you give of your energy, you give of your listening, and not just listening, but with your whole body. She says, you are worthy of receiving that and feeling that for yourself. She says, it is not too much to ask, and you are not too much at all. And that feels really important for you not only to hear, she says, but feel in your spirit. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
She says, you have this ability, she says, to see people and their faults and their imperfectness and go, I love you anyway. It's okay. It's okay. She says, and then yet some people take advantage of that. She says, and I'm here, she says, to remind you and hold boundary against people taking that from you, and you being able to actually be received, and also others being able to take accountability for themselves. And that feels really important to say. Do you understand that? She says, I don't know what this is, but she showed me, she's showing me sort of this beautiful array of beings, physical beings. And I have different feelings towards each of them. Some of them I feel very like emotionally this like woo, and then some of them like intellectually I feel just like so stimulated and like wow, like turned on. And then some of them I'm just like woof, yeah, this way. Like there's like all of these different feelings of love that are just feel like vast and wide and like many. And she's wanting to celebrate this in you, and the many ways that you give love and receive love, and the diversity of your love. And this being actually something that comes very naturally to you in your expression of love, that it doesn't feel like it's limited, that it actually feels like it's like, well, unlimited in the biggest way. How do you understand this?
Wow, I feel like I'm feeling it, and it's yeah, it's something that I think I've been kind of in denial about, honestly. I think
Mhm.
there's a bit of denial. So there's something coming through that I'm not really able to
Yep.
conscientiously hold on to.
Yep. And there's nothing, your mom says, I don't want you to feel like you need to do anything about it. She says, but I just want to validate when and if. She shows me sort of like a timeline where I feel like it's like coming in and out, coming, and I'm thinking about it, that it's okay and that it's
Yeah.
really beautiful and that it's just the expression of your spirit. And it's actually how the entire universe operates on the other side. We are everywhere with everything all at once, all the time. There is no end, middle, beginning. And there's something that feels liberating and expansive in that, and
Mm.
really steeped in love, in a real love. So, again, this feels something that may come and may not, and you don't have to do anything around it.
Mhm. Okay.
Thanks, mom.
I love that. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool, Mom. Whoa.
Oh, mom is talking about the most expansive relationships. I love it. So okay. Yeah, she's like, Ash, sorry I'm making you sweat. I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. You just have a really powerful energy. I'm like literally dripping out of my chair. So I want to take this moment, and I'm gonna, turn it to, oh, hold on, she's saying one more thing. So she's pointing at your throat. She's pointing at
Okay.
your throat, your voice. And she
Yep.
says, let's talk about the throat. Let's talk about the
Yep.
throat. She says, because this is really important. She says, I don't want you to have anything going on physically with your throat. So energetically, let's meet it right now. Let's meet it. So I don't know how you understand this, but there's something with the throat. And then again, it's like very similar to her own sort of like that feeling coming over my throat again. So I don't know how you understand this and connect with it, but she's wanting to speak about that and bring that up.
Oh, wow. Yep, that's really beautiful. I'm trying to do therapy right now, like a lot on
Okay.
expressing myself.
Okay.
And I'm finding that if I'm not expressing myself, I take on stress internally, and that internal stress can manifest in an upset, unregulated nervous system
Yep.
and overeating, and it
Yes.
can lead to IBS and all these
Yes.
issues. So I
Yes.
think they're all the fact that that's connected is blowing my mind, but it kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Very much so. So this is something, wow, she's breaking my brain a little bit right now. Okay. So she's talking about slow down. She's talking about the way that sometimes she says nothing is ever absolute, but she says sometimes in my case, when I left the physical world, I left behind this trauma and I left behind this imprint, and you received it. And that was something that came through and that you carried not only from me, she says, but ancestrally. So there's this line behind her of the same thing with the throat and the same thing with the suppression and the not being able to like speak kind of thing or fully be myself. So she says, when you do this work that you're doing right now, she says, which is so powerful, the therapy, the things that you're doing are so powerful because they not only affect you, she says, and heal you, but they heal me and they heal us all the way who are behind you. She says, and I just got chills like no one's business all the way down my body from her. You feel that? Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
same, yeah.
she showed me just the line, and it stretches for
Mm,
thousands of generations, just all the way behind you, and you
mm,
breaking that curse and breaking that thing that literally has been holding them down from the neck down. She says, I want to offer some things that are a little bit different to add on to what you're doing to help support you and going more into your expression. Are you okay with this?
mhm,
Okay. So the first thing that she's showing me is being able to take yourself out into nature into, I see the trees and my happy place. And you're alone. There's like, you're alone by yourself, but you feel safe wherever you're at in this space. And then being able, she says, to call me in. She says, all you have to do is say, Mom, come, I'll come. She says, if you want. And she said, she shows me her hands just like gently on your shoulders. And as you're in the woods, being able to allow yourself to unleash your voice. She says, we have so many things in our voice. It is not just, she says, the structural components of these muscles. She says, but the energetic components are there to unlock our own healing, but we don't always know that.
Mm-hmm.
So what she showed me was you literally like, I mean, I am going for it, like gutturally, like screaming. And then I'm like on the ground and I'm moving my body and writhing my body. And I'm like shaking, I'm doing whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm just crying and I'm releasing. And I can feel her again, this hug. And she says, I want you to know that this is there for you to bring this energy out and to bring yourself back into your body in a different way. Do you understand this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She says, I don't want my things to stop you from living your life.
Mm.
She says, no more. She says, those are not yours. They are not of you. And they will return back to earth when you do this. Wow. She just showed me at the end of that, you're like on the ground and she just scooped you up in her arms like a little baby. And there's this feeling of being reborn. This feeling of like, who am I then? How am I now? How do I wait? If that's gone, like what? Whoa. So she's wanting to bring that in as it can be scary, she says, because what's on the other side of that is we don't know actually who we might be if we don't have that going on. So she wants to bring in that there will be change, but you don't have to fear it. How do you understand that?
This is I think something that I've seen you model or heard about you model. It's an easy, not easy, it's an option, and I see it as a portal and a big opportunity to just release. I really want to do this.
Yeah, it's a
I love
power.
having specifics. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no. There's many people who do this different ways. She wants to reiterate. She's laughing. She's like, Ash, how many times have you heard this in a reading come through? I'm like, a lot. She goes, yeah, there's a lot of trauma in the voice. There's a lot of trauma in the throat, in the neck, not for all people, but a lot of people. And it's like cultural supremacy just shoved down. So I was like, yeah, because I was asking her, I was like, why are there so many patterns of this? And she's like, here's why. Let me show you like generations. I'm like, oh, right.
Juicy. Juice.
Like, yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. Yes.
Yeah. Any feminine energy, honestly, I think a lot of times is, squashed, taken advantage of.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from that.
Yes. So there's so much behind that, she says. And she says, the way that you do it, you get to decide. She says, there is no right or wrong way to set it up. She's laughing. She goes, you're so intentional. It's not gonna be, I don't know what this is, but she shows me like, literally, I'm like placing the stones here and this here and a little candle. And I'm like, okay. And like, oh, hold on. That's not, okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. So I don't know. Do you understand?
Yeah, it's me to a T. I'm like extremely particular.
I love it. She says, you don't have to worry about that. She goes, you get to, she's like, whatever comes to your mind, follow that. Your instincts, your gut, all the little thing like, oh, I want to bring this, or like this smell, or like this thing. She says, trust that in the forming of this ritual and this process. She says, the most important part is that you feel safe in where you're at, in the location of where it's at. When you feel safe, your body will open and you'll be able to actually intuit a lot more and hear a lot more and experience a lot more. So she said, that's the only thing, is really where you get to go do it and what feels safe for you. I don't know what this is, but she's bringing up a friend who has land, or a friend who has like is near the woods or something. And I feel like it's like I don't know if it's like a family cabin or something, but like no one's there. And it's like, oh, you can go and like go in the backyard or go in the land and like do whatever you want there. Like it's fine, you know, and feeling safe in that way. So don't be surprised if you come across that, or you reach out and someone's like, yeah, you can go to like the thing. It's right. And you're like, oh, okay. Because it does feel like someone, you know, or a place that you're familiar with and being, where you can, unleash. And around that, she says, you do this as many times as you need. She says, she takes me way back in the ancestral line, like way, way back. I feel like it's like, I don't even know, definitely further than the 1800s, way, way, way back. We're like living on the land. And this was like literally just a way of being, was very primal and very allowing the voice to be there. And so when you're doing that, you get to decide how much you want to do it until you feel like, okay, this part is complete for now. And that feels really important. The last thing she's saying about it is, don't be surprised if you see colors. So I don't know what this is about colors, but there's like things my eyes are seeing that I'm like, what is happening? Is this real? Like, and like paying attention to the color. So I'm going to give that to you for your experience, but she's just mentioning the way that you see and then the colors. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. I'm getting from that. Yep.
Okay. So I want to, she's turning to me, which is just my sign for she's opening it up to anything that you want to ask that has bubbled up, or anything you want to ask me or her or anything in this moment. I'm just going to hold the line. For you.
Hi. Oh my goodness. I guess I just I don't know. I think a part of me wants a little bit of like, just I'm interested in my relationship with my dad moving forward, and I don't know how to deal with that. I've had a lot of distance, and I feel like that's been the best choice. And I feel like I already got an answer here, but if there's, I don't know, just anything in that space.
Okay. So there's a few different things your mom is bringing up. So I'm just going to validate this. The first thing that she's speaking of is the denial from your father. So this feels pretty big as far as a sense of like him denying what happened, how he was, like this whole kind of, again, suppression of not really wanting to go into the past. And then also the harmful impact of that, of not saying anything and of pretending like, oh, everything's fine now, or like different, or I'm different and it's fine. So your mom is just wanting to validate that what you feel inside. And that making sense, she says, from the distance you've taken, and also the impact that his energy has on like your mental health. That being like 100% okay and supportive, she says, and you can decide what type and how you'd like to interact with him, and on your terms, really. I don't know what this is, but she shows me kind of these, I don't know, his energy is so interesting. I feel like she just put me into his body, and I'm like kind of set in my ways. I'm kind of set in like the ways that I do things and what I want to do. And I'm not really open to like other ideas, other ways, anything that's like outside of my box or the thing that I live in, my four corners. I don't know why I'm saying that. So your mom is just really explicit and super protective of you. Like, talk about mama bear cub right now. Like, she's just like coming in and being like, she says, she says the way to really protect your energy and to make sure that you are intact and not sucked from in those experiences is to invite him out of his comfort zone, or invite him in a place where you feel safe, like a walk or a park or nature or something that's kind of in a safer environment. Because it does feel like his energy is very intense and sort of like, I don't know what this is. It just draws. It just takes more than it puts back. So I
Oh,
feel like totally flat out after. Do you understand this? Is making sense?
100%. Yep.
Okay. So that would be her advice with him. She says everything that you've done is intuitive, and you've been deeply listening to your gut and to your spirit about that doesn't really feel right, or I need some more space. She says, and okay. She says, don't fall for his guilt trips. So I don't know
Oh,
how you understand that.
holy shit. Yeah. Yep. He's
Okay.
like gaslight central, and he uses emotional manipulation.
Oh my
Yep.
God. Because I just feel
Yep.
like it's like, I don't know. She just gave me an example. Like, I'm getting old, or like, look at this happen to me. Like, are you going to come see me or not? Or I'm just, no one loves me, or I'm all by myself, or I don't even know. And I'm just like, oh, I kind of do feel bad. Oh, he is by himself. Oh, he doesn't have any friends. But it's like, it's sucking, and it's trying to get that response. So your mom just feels really strong and really protective of you, and being able to be like, no, that has nothing to do with you and a lot to do with him. And you really dictating where to go with him from a place of your own power, in your own
Mm.
power. And that'll get stronger, she shows, if and when you decide. You get to decide, but when you do those practices consistently, there's something that wakes up in you in that area that creates that kind of stronger field and stronger boundary there without even trying. It's just there. So don't be surprised too if that comes more online. She's laughing.
Hey.
um okay. Oh, so I want to take this moment and be able to just thank your mom for being such a amazing spirit and a strong as presence. And just, I can't even believe she came in hot, like right off the bat, just like from the beginning to the end. It doesn't always happen that way.
Yep.
And just
Yep.
bringing in phenomenal validations that only you would understand. And
Love
I,
it.
yeah, she's incredible. And I want to thank you for your spirit and for you showing up and being totally open to this experience today. And I hope this is helpful and healing to you in some way.
Ash, I want to thank you. I want to like just I give you some appreciation. This has been a really wonderful experience, and um, I just the timing couldn't have been more perfect. She kind of came up in my life, and
Oh,
I just needed to have this moment. I got yeah, there were just some gifts that I got that were kind of meant to be mine, and they were withheld from me from my dad. And
wow.
because of that, I used that to kind of have this moment. And
Wow.
you're a translator, and I just really appreciate your work on so many levels. And hearing your story, like I just want to give you some gratitude, some love, some appreciation. So thank you. And I want you to also pass that same beautiful energy on to my mother. She's just a
She's
magical,
receiving it.
wonderful
She's eating,
person.
eating you up. She's like, yes, yes, yes. She hears you, and she's with you. You know, you can talk to her and she hears you clearly. Even if you don't talk to her out loud, she can hear you in your mind, in your heart. So just know that even when we end, she's going home with you, not with me. So
I feel her. I love
yeah,
this. This is so
yes.
validating.
Good. I'm glad. And just the last piece is just as we come to a close and I just disconnect from her energy and hand her to you, um, integration is really helpful in these. You'll get the recording so you can like mull over all of these things. And some of the things that you heard might come and happen after. And that happens all the time with reading. So don't be surprised if you see these things pop up all of a sudden or come across what was spoken. That's normal. Also, if you have an uptick in your dream world, that's normal in a good way. And if you just notice signs and symbols for the next 24 hours, that's really normal as well. I like to say people sometimes pass out, or they literally like, I have to walk for like an hour right now. So whatever you're feeling, allowing that energy to move and just generate as it can. And then just a lot of water to be able to keep the body up. The body's like, what just happened? So yeah, that's all happening. And again, I will talk to you so soon and just send you all of this.
Thank you so much, Ash. You've been great.
So welcome. Okay, big love. Bye.
Yeah, big love. Give me a big hug. Thank you so much.
We're all good.